Nobody in the nervous system world seems to be talking about these big mistakes that people are doing, right? People, for some reason, think they need to do more or dig for trauma or heal the motherfucker gene or fix the mitochondria or detox this, heal leaky gut that. You're not stuck for any of these reasons. You're not a special case. The reason why you're stuck is because of these 6 big mistakes that you're probably doing. If you can recognize any of these, please share them in the comments if you see that you're doing them. My name's Helmut. I'm the Mindful Gardener. I recovered from over 75 symptoms plus. I had OCD looping thoughts, intrusive thoughts, endless anxiety. I had 2 safe foods I could only eat. I had ulcerative colitis, all the IBS, all the gut issues, pelvic floor pain, mast cell activation syndrome, multiple chemical sensitivity, and now I'm fully recovered. Took me 3 years to recover, but I have no more symptoms and I can eat all the foods with no problems. So I'm going to break down the 6 things that are quietly sabotaging your recovery. So let's get into it. Number 1, you're not allowing, you're resisting, right? First off, notice when you resist your thoughts and your symptoms. First of all, I always say, make sure you get checked with your doctor, rule out anything serious. Perfect. Now that's out of the way, right? Now we got to make sure, are you resisting your thoughts? Your thoughts about symptoms, the what if thoughts, right? The symptoms themselves. The first thing you have to do is be aware. Are you resisting your thoughts? Are you trying to distract from them, fix them, get rid of them? Are you researching, analyze them? Right? The first thing you need to do is stop resisting them, because what you resist persists, right? When you try to make something go away, right? What does this translate to? What are you trying to get rid of? Right? It translates, the brain translates this to you're trying to get rid of danger. Our goal is to turn off the alarms and bring the survival state down over time. Right now, we're in the red zone. We're at 1,000, but we're trying to get back down to 0, back down to standby. Right? So you need to send messages of safety while being in the danger. And one of the best ways to do it is to allow the thoughts and symptoms to be there without trying to get rid of them. Because when you're trying to get rid of something, right, it's like you're fighting the liger. The brain goes, oh, he's in danger, which reaffirms that the alarms that it sent was correct. So it keeps it on, right? So does this, when you're doing this, does this translate to safety? Oh, yeah, I'm safe. No. This translates to, right? This, allowing the thoughts to be there, the symptoms to be there, right? You're taking away the resistance, because when you have resistance, you have this inner battle, which brings that survival state up and it turns on alarms and you get more of what you don't want. So allow what you can. The way you allow is 3 to 5 minutes tops, and then you have to engage. Make sure that you engage. Engaging means move on. Move on to something like going for a walk, cutting the grass, right? Listen to music, doing something that has nothing to do with anything mind body, right? So allow and engage. Number 2, you need to be aware of your old behavior patterns. How are you ever going to change anything if you're not aware of it? So first, right, this could take some time. For a first while, start to be aware of some of your patterns. Are you body checking? Checking your heart rate? Are you checking your temperature? Are you checking your blood pressure? Are you talking to Sally about symptoms? Are you online? Talking to people on forums? Yeah, but no, but I have the motherfucker gene. I'm special. Yeah, but you can't. Are you spending all day talking to people about symptoms? Talking to your spouse about symptoms? Or are you going, yeah, but I'm feeling, yeah, but my shoulder, but I feel, yeah, but, yeah. Are you sending a message of danger while you're in the danger? These are behavior patterns you have to be aware of. And you have to keep being aware of them. Then you have to stop them. And you have to keep stopping them and being aware of them continually. Then eventually it gets easier. Eventually you're going to update these new behavior patterns, right? So don't talk about symptoms. Don't research. Don't do any body checking. Get out of those Facebook groups, all of them, right? Any of those forums, Reddit, any YouTube channel, Instagram. Are you following any of these gurus that you shouldn't be following, right? Get out. Maybe take a break from Facebook. Maybe change the algorithm to recipes or travel, right? So these behavior patterns are really important to change because they're just refiring up the survival state. Three, too many likers. Not to say that you can't heal in these situations or in these toxic environments. You can. But if you can eliminate some of these things because it makes it easier to heal, right? If you're living in a house with mold on mold on mold, then maybe you should get out. I think it's kind of common sense, right? If you're in a toxic relationship, or I like to say in a toxic relationship with a narcissist, right? It's time to get out. These alarms are screaming at you for a reason. Actually, the alarm system is working perfectly fine. It's actually doing its job. So if you're dealing with real danger, you need to get out because it's overwhelming the system and it's going to be really difficult for you to do the work and move forward. Right? If you're constantly dealing with a partner that's cheating on you or treating you like crap or it's just toxic, maybe they're a good person, maybe you're a good person, right? But the relationship just got too toxic. It's time to move on and break apart. Then it's you got to make some of these hard decisions, right? Time to make that call. Are you working in a toxic work environment? If you're able to work, I wasn't able to work, right? For those of you that aren't working, then that's one less thing for you to worry about. But it could be anything. Certain friends in your life, maybe they're toxic, right? And you haven't even noticed it. Keep them at a distance or get rid of them. You have to make the hard decisions because this is your life. This is your movie. If you want to recover, you got to take it serious. Certain people in your family, right? They drive you crazy, right? We can't always get rid of our family. So what do? We just find the sweet spot, right? We might not talk to them as much as we would normally. You try to find it so that you can at least see them once in a while, and then it doesn't affect your journey of recovery as too much, right? Because family makes things complicated. You can't just get rid of them like some of your deadbeat friends, right? Number 4, you're trying to fix. Here's the thing. When you're trying to get rid of symptoms, 9 times out of 8, when you try to get rid of symptoms, it reaffirms you're trying to get rid of what is the danger, right? When you're trying to fix and get rid of, it just keeps it there, right? You have to have the intentions of allowing something to be there with no strings attached, right? We're not expecting any outcomes. We have no expectations of things to be gone if we allow it. So if you're allowing symptoms and thoughts to be there, I don't want you to be looking to see if it's gone. Because if you're looking to see if something's gone, you're reaffirming to the brain that you're looking for the liger around the corner. You don't feel safe, so the brain goes, "Oh, let's keep the alarms on because there could be a tiger nearby. He's looking for danger." Also, when people are trying to get rid of symptoms and they're fixing, right? Instead of trying to get rid of that discomfort, you should sit in that fear, sit in that discomfort and allow it to be there. So sit in the fire, picture yourself, sit in that fear and allow it and let it dissolve in your chest. That's what the allowing is, right? This is what allowing is all about. You allow it to be there and you feel it in the body, integrate it, right? 3 minutes tops. You feel that energy dissolved in your throat and chest, and then you move on. The thing is, people, what they're doing is they're trying to get rid of what they're feeling by tapping it away, right? By doing breath work to get rid of that feeling. If I do my breath work, then I'll feel better. If I distract, then I'll feel better. If I activate the vagus nerve, I'll feel better now. People want to feel better now, right? If you want to recover from this stuff, so it doesn't, so you're not a slave to it anymore, you have to think the long term. So the long term, you're going to feel the relief. Right now, you're not going to feel relief. You're actually going to feel like shit, right? And you need to feel like shit. You need the symptoms to be there. Without the symptoms, you cannot recover. Symptoms become opportunities that you need to update the system, right? And you need more of that symptom to come up because it becomes more opportunities. So look for more of the symptoms because they help you build that leverage of indifference that you need over time which turns off the alarm. When you become indifferent to your symptoms and you invite them in and they move in with you and you don't try to rush them out, eventually they will go as a consequence because that sends a message of safety. That brings that survival state back down to zero. And then we allow the symptoms to be there and let them do their thing. When you dissolve that energy, right? When you allow the symptoms and the thoughts to be there, right? The brain sends it to you. We're emptying the allostatic load one drop at a time. So one drop at a time, you feel it in your chest, it dissolves, right? And eventually the allostatic load bucket empties. Because when this thing fills up and is overloaded, we're having mayday, mayday, meltdown. Symptoms manifest, and you get stuck in a chronic state. Our goal is to empty out the allostatic load and bring that survival state back down to zero. And the way that you do that is by allowing the symptoms to be there without trying to get rid of them. Right? Instead of putting ice packs under your arms to bypass that feeling, you just missed an opportunity to feel what you're supposed to feel. People are avoiding to feel what's underneath that symptom and that thought. It's there for you to feel it so you can dissolve it and then engage and move on. This is how we empty the allostatic load. This is how we also bring that survival state down. So don't miss those opportunities. Don't waste them. You need them. Use them. 5, don't be wishy-washy. Be consistent, right? If you're doing the work once a week, once a month, it'll resort back to the old programming. Our goal is to lead with a new program while the old program, you allow the old program to do its thing and it just dissolves and dies on the vine, right? That's how we do it. We let it do its thing and then eventually it dies out while we introduce a new program. But we have to be consistent with the work every day leading in, because if you don't, it just resorts back to the old program. So make that choice, right? Decide today, that's it. I'm doing the work every day. I'm going to do all the pillars of recovery. I'm going to do the allow method every day. Never going to miss a day. This is where you got to be strict every day. Never, ever miss a day. This is where you got to be aware of old behavior patterns. You got to have some playtime, elevate, right? You got to do your walk and talks, do your visuals, right? You got to have a meeting with yourself. You got to allow throughout the day. You have to have a calendar and a routine that you follow every day because that becomes your lifeline. You need to have a lighthouse when you're lost at sea. So a routine schedule, right? This is where I got a calendar. So you need a calendar so that you have a good, solid routine for the days where you're going crazy. You just follow the routine. It becomes a lifeline, right? Make sure you have a calendar and fill it out. Every day's Groundhog Day. It's there to support you to make sure that you stick to this path, because that's the thing. Consistency, right? If you're consistent and you stick to this work, the brain will have no choice but to change, and you'll get there 1000%. So make sure you get a calendar and make sure you stick to a solid routine because it's a lifeline. Number 6. So this one is really important. I find this journey has to be tackled in stages. In the beginning, you're just doing a light amount of allowing. You're not even doing a lot of it. Very minimal. You're going to be doing more of the basic work with just walking and talking, doing visuals, elevating, and you're going to do what you can, right? And sticking to a routine every day, very light. We're just doing we're just getting the body moving. We're trying to get that safety in there, because if you have shadow before safety, it's going to lead to self-sabotage. You're going to put gasoline on the fire. You're just going to flood the system. So we don't want to be digging for trauma, right? We don't want to be doing any of the deep, deep work right away, because it can set you back and restart the trauma loop. And that's not what we want. We want to allow that survival state, that fire, to die down by itself slowly. And then when you're fully recovered, then do the deeper work, because you'll be at a place to be able to do it without flooding the system. You'll have the capacity to handle what comes up when you do the deeper work. Already doing the shadow work with allowing throughout the journey. In the beginning, you're doing light allowing, and then through the journey, maybe near the second year, you're ramping it up a bit. right? And you can handle a lot more. You'll have more capacity to handle more. The more you become a professional allower, the more you become in tune. You have this workflow. The brain sends you what you need on a platter, right? That's it. You don't have to go digging. It sends everything that you need on a platter, and you can even decide, yeah, I'm not ready for this thing yet. I'm gonna start with the low hanging fruit. And you can decide to work with, you can decide to allow only the things that are easier for you, because it affects the nervous system altogether at once. So when you work on this over here, right, this becomes easier over here. So do the easier thing. You're in charge, right? In the beginning, do the light amount of allowing, and then eventually, when you're ready and you have more capacity, you do more. And then when you're recovered, then you do the deeper work. And you'll be at a place where you'll be able to do it as a curious observer and not flooding the system. And in some cases, it makes people go backwards. So let's not do that, right? I think this is a lot of this stuff's common sense, but you got to be consistent and don't give up. The hard days are prime time. I'm doubling down no matter what. I'm not sitting on the couch doing nothing. I'm doing the work. I don't care. I'm doing the work. I'm showing up. Even if I have to crawl, I'm going to do it. I'm never going to miss a day, right? You're never going to miss a day of visuals, walk and talks, or elevating, or any of the pillars, right? You're going to allow the best that you can, right? And that's all you can do. You can only do your best, right? And trust me, I did it wrong all the time. And sometimes you need to do it wrong so you understand how to do it right. How it'll make sense when it clicks, because you have the contrast of what doesn't work. So understand you're going to screw this up, right? Constantly. I did. I fucked this up left and left, right? And eventually, you know, screwing it up teaches you something and you learn how to do it right. So if I can screw it up and fully recover, then so can you. So if you follow these tips, right, be aware of some of the mistakes they might be doing and update them, change them. Trust me, if you do them, you're going to notice massive shifts. It's going to get you to the finish line of recovery, and so you can get your life back. Trust me, if you do these things, you're going to notice big shifts, but be consistent, never give up, right? And just because you have symptoms does not mean you're not moving forward. Keep going. You'll get there. You're going to cross that finish line and get your life back. You're going to recover 1000%.